This place reeks of magic, a magic so old it has faded into the fabric of the world. I'm surrounded by crumbling statues, each one a testament to a god no one remembers. The jungle has reclaimed much of this place, but even nature seems hesitant here, as if the very stones hold a power that even she respects. The name echoes in my mind, a forgotten symphony waiting to be played. It is a name that speaks of power, of divinity, a name that could bring both enlightenment and damnation. This is the home of the lost gods, the playground of the ancients, and I am about to trespass on ground better left undisturbed. The air grows colder, the light around me shifts, and the whispers begin. I hear them on the wind slithering between the trees, a language older than time itself. The jungle, once a cacophony of sound, falls silent, as if the very animals understand the gravity of what is about to unfold. A clearing opens up before me, and in its center stands an altar, weathered and worn, yet still imposing. The remnants of a fire pit mark its heart, and I can almost feel the warmth of 1,000 forgotten rituals. As I step closer, the whispers intensify, forming words, forming sentences, forming a language I somehow understand. Elohim, Elohim, Elohim. The name reverberates in my mind, and I know with a certainty that defies logic that Elohim is not a singular being, but a chorus, a multitude of voices intertwined. Each syllable is a key, and when put together, they unlock a door to a realm beyond our own. But with this revelation comes a profound sadness, a sorrow so deep it chills me to the bone. For I sense that these gods, these voices, are not merely absent, but have been deliberately hidden, silenced, erased from the collective memory of the world. Why? What purpose does such erasure serve? These questions echo in my mind, unanswered, as I continue my descent into the mystery of Elohim. As I reach out to touch the altar, the whispers crescendo swirling around me, pulling me into their vortex. Memories, not my own, flood my mind, and I see visions of a time when the sky was split open and the gods descended. I see temples that rival the greatest of human architecture, and I feel the devotion of a people who worshipped not just a god but a pantheon. But then the tone of the whispers changes, and I sense a shift in the energy of this place. There is fear now, a palpable terror that sends shivers down my spine. I see the gods retreat, their voices fracturing, each fragment slipping into a different realm, leaving behind only echoes of their former glory. And then, as quickly as it began, it ends. The whispers fade, the visions recede, and I am left standing in the silent jungle, the weight of what I have experienced pressing down on me. The jungle, once again, alive with the sounds of nature, seems almost mocking in its indifference to the divine drama that has unfolded here. I turn away from the altar, my steps slow and heavy, and begin the long walk back to the entrance of this lost city. As I go, I cannot help but wonder why I was chosen, why I was brought to this place, why I was shown the wonders and the horrors of the lost gods of Elohim. Am I to carry this knowledge with me, to become a conduit between the worlds? Or am I to forget, to let the memories fade like mist on a cold morning? Only time, I fear, will tell. For now, I leave the jungle behind, taking with me the whispers of the gods and the secrets of a name better left unspoken. Remember, every god has his price. Every truth comes at a cost. And the deeper you delve into the mysteries of the universe, the more you will understand that the line between light and dark is often blurred. You may have glimpsed the wonders of Elohim, but remember, the gods are not to be trifled with. They are forces of nature, beyond our comprehension, beyond our control. And the price of their power is always steep. Be cautious, seeker of truth, for the path you walk is fraught with peril. Do you feel the weight of the untold stories pressing upon you? Are you ready to face the consequences of awakening the gods? Share your thoughts below, and let us delve deeper into this narrative tapestry. Welcome, seeker, to the first chapter of your journey into the depths of the unknown. Here in the hushed tones of twilight, we speak of things best left undisturbed, of powers so profound they defy comprehension. Are you ready? Very well then, let us begin. Before the dawn of recorded time, before the rise of the celestial pantheon, there existed a truth so ancient it predates even memory. The truth of El, a name that was more than a word, a concept that transcended understanding. To utter the name El was to invite the very essence of existence into one's life. It was a gamble with fate, a challenge to the equilibrium of the cosmos. The gods of El were not benevolent deities, not celestial beings of unwavering light and kindness. No, they were forces of the primordial world, beings of immense power whose very thoughts could reshape reality. Their domain was the fabric of existence, the raw materials from which universes are forged. They were the weavers of the cosmos, and their loom was the tapestry of space and time. In the grand tapestry of existence, their influence was profound. They were the creators, the shapers of worlds, the architects of galaxies. Yet their power was not absolute. They were bound by the laws of balance, kept in check by the very forces they wielded. But how did they fall? How did these cosmic titans go from shaping the universe to being scattered across the planes of existence? The answer lies in the very heart of their worship, in the rituals performed by those who dared to commune with them. Amongst their many rites, one stood out, a prayer, a chant, a plea to the gods of El to manifest in the mortal realm. The prayer was a masterpiece of invocation, a symphony of syllables designed to shatter the barriers between worlds. When spoken correctly, it was a doorway to unimaginable power. But when botched, it became a prison. You see, the prayer was not merely an act of faith. It was a precise scientific formula, a manipulation of frequencies and vibrations to resonate with the very essence of the gods. But like all things of immense power, it demanded perfect execution. Any misstep, any alteration, no matter how minute, could disrupt the delicate balance, twisting the intention of the ritual. And so it came to pass that when the faithful assembled to call upon the gods of El, something unforeseen occurred. The prayer, instead of opening a bridge between worlds, shattered the gods themselves. Imagine, if you will, 7 radiant figures, each embodying a facet of creation, standing at the precipice of existence. With the utterance of the final syllable, they were to descend into the mortal realm, but something went terribly wrong. The 7th essence, instead of joining its brethren, recoiled, its form flickering like a flame in a storm. The remaining 6 divinities were pulled into the maelstrom, their forms fracturing, their essence scattering across the planes of existence. With the gods thus dispersed, the barriers between realms stabilized, sealing away the remnants of the divine. And so it was that the prayer, meant to bring the gods to the faithful, became a curse, banishing the very divinities it had been designed to summon. Now, the question that echoes through the ages is this: was the corruption of El the gods' doing, a sacrifice made to preserve the balance of existence? Or was it an accident, a tragic mistake by the hands of the mortals who sought their favor? The answer, seeker, lies in your hands. For you are the one who has found this scroll, who has stumbled upon the remnants of a forgotten truth. You are the one who must decide whether to delve deeper into the enigma of El, or to leave this ancient secret undisturbed. The choice, my seeker, is yours. The shadows grow longer, the whispers grow louder. What will you do? You stood before the crumbling remnants of a civilization long gone, the very stones beneath your feet whispering tales of ages past. The towering ruins stretched endlessly before you, their broken stones scattered like a memory that refused to fade. You had journeyed far, drawn by an unseen force to this forgotten corner of the world. Your path had been fraught with peril, but you pressed on, undeterred by the dangers that lurked around every bend. For you were seeking something more, something that lay hidden beneath the dust of centuries. And then you saw it, a glint of sunlight on stone, a subtle shift in the decay that marked the passage of countless years. With a heart that pounded against your ribs like a captive bird, you approached the wall. It seemed to shimmer before your eyes, as though it had been guarding its secret well, but your presence had stirred it from its slumber. Gently, you pressed your palm against the rough surface, feeling the coolness of the stone beneath your fingertips. And in that instant, the world around you seemed to dissolve. You found yourself standing at the threshold of a hidden chamber, its entrance concealed by centuries of decay. The air hung heavy with the scent of dust and secrets, and the weight of history pressed heavily on your shoulders. Before you, a staircase carved into the living rock descended into darkness, beckoning you forward with the promise of hidden wonders and untold perils. Each step you took echoed with the footsteps of those who had come before, their whispers carried on the currents of time. And then you saw them, your eyes struggling to pierce the gloom, 2 points of emerald fire burning in the darkness. A pair of reptilian eyes regarded you with ancient wisdom, their glow intensifying as you moved deeper into the chamber. From the shadows, a colossal form began to emerge, its scales shimmering like 1,000 stars, each one reflecting eons of existence. It was a being of pure primal energy, its very essence a conduit between the realms of shadow and light. Its gaze, both terrifying and mesmerizing, held the secrets of creation and the knowledge of countless lifetimes. With a rumbling voice that echoed through the cavern, the great serpent spoke. Who dares disturb the slumber of the ancients? What mortal hand has dared to break the seal of ages? Its words, though ancient, resonated with a power that shook your very core. You realized then that this was no ordinary creature. This was a guardian, a protector of knowledge so profound that it defied mortal understanding. As you stood there, caught between the terror of the unknown and the allure of forbidden wisdom, you knew that your life would never be the same. The serpent continued, its voice echoing through the chamber. Only those who possess the purest of hearts and the keenest of minds may delve into the mysteries that lie within. All others shall be consumed by the darkness that knows no bounds. And with that, the great serpent vanished, leaving you alone in the flickering torchlight, the air thick with anticipation. The ruined temple whispered tales of forgotten gods, and the fate of worlds hung in the balance. With newfound determination, you decided to press on. You would face whatever trials lay ahead, unravel the secrets of the Elohim, and restore the balance of the world. The journey ahead promised to be fraught with peril, but you were ready. You had come too far to turn back now, so you ventured deeper into the earth, into the very heart of the forgotten temple. You find yourself at the precipice of a journey unlike any other. Before you stretches a descent so profound, so all-encompassing, it seems to devour even the light itself. It's not just a physical drop, but a plunge into the depths of existence, a venture into the heart of creation. This is no ordinary journey. It is the journey of the first prophet, the one whose name has been swallowed by the sands of time, whose existence is merely a whisper among the crumbling stones of forgotten ruins. Their story, a tale of both enlightenment and despair, echoes through the ages, resonating with a haunting familiarity. You stand where they stood, about to embark on a path that will either lead to profound wisdom or utter ruin. You can almost feel the prophet's presence, their essence lingering like a phantom limb. The same thirst for knowledge, the same unquenchable curiosity that drove them to the edge of this abyss. But you also sense something else, a darkness that seems to emanate from the very core of their being, a madness that gnaws at the edges of their sanity. The prophet's tale started not in this desolate place, but in a time when the world was still young, and the gods walked among mortals. They were chosen, set apart from other humans, granted visions of the divine, whispers of a truth that lay just beyond human perception. They were given the sacred rites, the prayers, and incantations that allowed them to commune with the Elohim, the celestial chorus that sang the song of creation. But something within them, a restlessness, a disquietude, refused to be still. The divine presence, though magnificent, felt fragmented. The prophet heard the gods, not as a unified whole, but as a cacophony, a discordant symphony of disparate voices. Each note, though beautiful on its own, clashed with the others, creating a harmony that was anything but harmonious. And so the prophet yearned for more, sought to delve deeper, to understand the reason for this dissonance. They wanted to heal the fractured melody, restore the celestial chorus to its former glory. And for many years, they served faithfully, acting as the bridge between mortals and immortals. But the prophet's devotion was not enough. They wanted to do more than simply relay messages. They wanted to experience the divine firsthand, to feel the very essence of creation thrumming within their veins. In their quest for deeper communion, the prophet uncovered ancient texts, forgotten scrolls that spoke of a time when the gods walked the earth as one, a time before the Great Schism, before the celestial chorus fractured into its current discordant form. The prophet discovered the ritual of reunification, the prayer that could mend the shattered pieces of the divine, restore the celestial harmony, and bring the scattered gods back together. But the ritual was dangerous, fraught with peril, required more than mere devotion. It demanded a sacrifice, an offering of unwavering faith, a willingness to court madness in the pursuit of enlightenment. Yet the prophet was undeterred. They prepared for the sacred rite, their heart pounding in their chest like a war drum, their resolve hardening into a steely glint in their eyes. In the dead of night, they descended into the deepest chamber of the temple, the very heart of the divine, the place where the veil between worlds was thinnest. There, under the watchful gaze of the stars, the prophet began to speak the ancient words, the prayer that held the universe together. At first, it was just a whisper, a tentative probing of the divine. But as the ritual progressed, the volume swelled, rising to a crescendo that echoed through the halls of the temple. But the response they received was not what they expected. The gods did not answer in their scattered voices, but something stirred beneath their feet, a tremor that shook the very foundations of the temple. And then the voices answered, not the voices of the gods, but something else, something older, more ancient, stirring in the depths of the earth. The prophet's mind reeled, their thoughts scattering like birds taking flight. It was as if the prayer had opened a door, unleashing something that should have remained locked, imprisoned in the darkest recesses of existence. The prophets struggled, their sanity hanging by a thread, torn between the allure of forbidden knowledge and the desperate need to cling to their fading humanity. The vision, the maddening symphony of creation, threatened to consume them, to drag them into the very core of the earth where only primordial forces remained. They clawed at their ears, trying to shut out the sound, but it was no use. The voices echoed within their bones, vibrating in the marrow of their being. The prophet fell not to their knees, but to their doom, lost in the maelstrom of their own making. The descent that had promised enlightenment ended not in wisdom, but in ruin. The journey to the heart of creation became a plunge into the abyss. The more you uncover, the deeper you descend into a world of contradictions. The gods of Elohim were never meant to be understood. They were whispers, fragments of something greater, something nameless and unknowable. But still, you search, driven by a thirst for knowledge that burns as brightly as the ancient flame that once lit the sacred halls. You know now that Elohim was not merely a name, but a key that unlocks a hidden door between worlds, a door that leads into the realm of the gods. But you have not yet come to understand the full weight of this discovery. The name Elohim was spoken by the ancients, not as one god, but as many. Elohim was plural, and within this plural form existed gods whose names were lost to time. You've learned that these gods were once known as the El, beings who existed before the dawn of humanity, before the rise of the world's great religions. But in the endless passage of time, their true names were forgotten, hidden away in the deepest recesses of the world. Their existence became a myth, and their names faded into obscurity. Now, you begin to understand the significance of what you found. Elohim is not one god, but a collection of divine voices, a chorus of beings whose names are too sacred, too dangerous to be spoken aloud. These gods were once part of a divine order, a pantheon that existed before time itself, for the very creation of the heavens and the earth. But with the breaking of the prayer, they became nameless, their identities lost to the echoes of the past. Their voices, once harmonious, became scattered, their divine essence splintered into fragments. You discover that the nameless ones, as they are now called, are not to be feared for their power alone, but for their very nature. The truth of the Elohim is hidden in their names, names that cannot be spoken, cannot be written. They are not simply forgotten gods. They're gods whose very existence defies human comprehension. To know them is to know the void, to gaze upon something so vast and unknowable that it shatters the mind. In the shadows of forgotten temples, you find symbols, ancient carvings that hint at the names of these gods. But they are incomplete, broken, their true meaning obscured by time. One symbol stands out among the rest, a circle with no center. It is a symbol of emptiness, of the space between the divine and the mortal. It is a reminder that the gods are not merely beings, but concepts, forces beyond the boundaries of human understanding. To look upon this symbol is to confront the nameless, to acknowledge that the gods are not simply lost, but that they were never meant to be known at all. You feel a chill run through you as you stare at the symbol. It is as though the air itself is vibrating, resonating with an energy that you cannot see, but can feel in your bones. There is something about it, something that draws you in and yet warns you to stay away. And then you hear a voice, a whisper from the past, that seems to echo in your very soul. It speaks of the nameless ones, of their power and their glory, of their terrible and awesome might. It tells of their worship and their sacrifice, of the rituals and ceremonies that were once performed in their honor. And as you listen, you feel a sense of awe and wonder wash over you. These gods were not merely powerful beings. They were forces of nature, embodiments of the very essence of the universe. Their names were not merely words, but incantations, spells that could shape reality itself. To speak their names was to wield their power, to bend the world to your will. But it was also a dangerous thing to do, for the nameless ones were not to be trifled with. They were capricious and unpredictable, their moods shifting like the winds. To anger them was to invite their wrath, to incur their eternal enmity. You are drawn deeper into the mystery, into the very heart of the divine. The veil between worlds grows thinner, and the presence of the nameless ones becomes more palpable, more real. You feel their power thundering around you, shaking the very foundations of your being. You are no longer merely a witness to these ancient stories. You are a participant, a player in the unfolding drama of gods and mortals. The nameless ones are not distant deities, unreachable in their celestial thrones. They are here among us, hidden in the cracks of the world. They are waiting for you to find them, to call upon them, to unlock the door that separates the divine from the mortal. And when you do, you will not be able to turn back. The world you knew is shattered, fractured by the fall of the Elohim. Gods and men alike reel from the loss, grasping at the remnants of faith, while others cling to whispers of forgotten lore. Among them you stand out, driven by an unyielding determination to uncover the truth behind the Elohim's demise. As you delve deeper into the mysteries surrounding their downfall, you stumble upon an enigma, a temple buried beneath the sands of time, its existence known only to a few. Legends speak of this place as a sanctuary, where the veil between the mundane and the divine was at its thinnest. Where the Elohim themselves walked among mortals. Could this be the key to understanding their fall, to piecing together the fragments of a shattered pantheon? Hope stirs within you, a beacon in the darkness, guiding you towards the forgotten temple. With every step closer, you can feel the weight of untold secrets pressing down upon you. But the path to the temple is fraught with peril. Ancient traps lie dormant, waiting to ensnare the unwary. The very stones seem to whisper warnings from a time long past. Yet you persevere, driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge. At last, you stand before the temple, its weathered facade, a testament to the relentless passage of time. The entrance, concealed by vines and shrouded in mystery, beckons you forth. Taking a deep breath, you step inside. You find yourself in a vast chamber, its ceiling lost in the shadows above. The air is heavy with the scent of dust and decay, and the silence is broken only by the distant drip of water echoing through the gloom. Before you stands an altar, its surface intricately carved with scenes from a bygone era. Strange symbols adorn its sides, weaving together to form a narrative that is both captivating and unsettling. But as you approach, you realize that these symbols hold a deeper meaning. They are not mere decorations, but potent sigils of power, each one resonating with a fragment of the shattered Elohim. Suddenly, the air crackles with energy, and the symbols on the altar begin to glow. The room is bathed in an ethereal light, and you feel a surge of power coursing through your veins. The presence of the Elohim is here, their essence lingering within these ancient walls. You reach out to touch the glowing sigil, and in that instant, memories flood your mind. Visions of a time when the Elohim walked among mortals, when their power was revered, and their wisdom sought after. You see the creation of the world, the birth of humanity, and the rise and fall of civilizations shaped by the divine. But amidst these glorious visions, you also witness the seeds of their destruction, the envy, the pride, and the thirst for power that led to their downfall. As quickly as they came, the visions vanish, leaving you shaken but enlightened. The Elohim were not just deities to be worshipped. They were architects of existence, weavers of reality, whose every thought and action had profound consequences. You turn your attention back to the altar, realizing that this is no ordinary place. This is the nexus of their power, the focal point where the threads of fate converge. The symbols are not just sigils, they are keys, each one resonating with a fragment of the divine essence scattered across the world. With renewed determination, you set out to find the remaining fragments, each piece of the puzzle leading you closer to the truth behind the Elohim's fall. Your journey takes you to forgotten corners of the world, where ancient ruins whisper tales of the past and long-lost texts hold hidden lore. Along the way, you face challenges that test your courage, wisdom, and resolve. But with each obstacle overcome, you grow stronger, more attuned to the subtle energies that bind the universe together. As you gather more fragments and uncover more of the truth, you realize the gravity of what is at stake. The fate of the world hangs in the balance, and the choices you make will have far-reaching consequences. Will you seek to restore the Elohim to their former glory, or forge a new path for the world? The power to shape destiny rests in your hands. Now, more than ever, you feel the weight of your purpose pressing down on you. The path ahead is uncertain, fraught with peril and shadowed by the lingering presence of the Elohim. But you move forward, driven by the echoes of their whispers urging you on. For you are not just a seeker of knowledge, you are a catalyst for change, a harbinger of a new era. And as you continue your journey, you know that you are not alone. The fragments of the Elohim are with you, guiding and protecting you on your quest. Their power surges through you, amplifying your own abilities and fortifying you against the darkness that seeks to consume you. You are the chosen vessel, the conduit between the mortal realm and the divine. And as you embrace your role, you realize that the fate of the world truly does rest in your hands. The forgotten name echoes within you, a constant reminder of the responsibility you have undertaken. The power of the Elohim surges through you, a force both exhilarating and terrifying. You are at the precipice of a new understanding, poised to unravel the very essence of their being. But as you delve deeper into their power, you must tread carefully, for the line between wielding their power and becoming consumed by it is a thin one indeed. What you do with this knowledge, this power, will shape not just your destiny, but that of the entire world. You are the keeper of the forgotten name, the guardian of the Elohim's legacy. And as you stand at the crossroads of infinite possibilities, the weight of your choices will reverberate through eternity. You find yourself standing at the precipice of a forgotten age, the world trembling beneath your feet. Above you, the heavens are rent with celestial fire, the very fabric of reality groaning as if in pain. The air shimmers with an unearthly light as beings of unimaginable power clash across the void of existence. These are no mere mortals locked in conflict, but beings of pure energy and light, the angels, heralds of the gods. Their wings stretch like galaxies across the void, their eyes burning with the fires of creation. They stand at the right hand of the Elohim, messengers of the divine will, their voices echoing with the power of the cosmos. But their loyalty is about to be tested. For in the days before the great rupture, before the Elohim were cast into exile, the angels, too, begin to hear the whispers of something else. A discordant note amidst the celestial chorus, a discordant presence that does not belong to any god or demigod. The very notion of such a thing should be impossible, or no other gods besides the Elohim. There are no powers that exist outside of creation, yet still, the angels sense something vast, something alien, stirring in the depths of existence. And as the angels' awareness grows, so does their unease. They hear the Elohim not as harmonious voices, but as disjointed fragments of a once unified force. Their worship, once unwavering, begins to waver. They cannot comprehend why the gods, beings of infinite wisdom and power, would allow such dissonance to persist. Why would the Elohim abandon their sacred duty to maintain the balance of creation, to uphold the order of all things? It is a mystery that gnaws at the angels, driving them to seek answers in the furthest reaches of the divine knowledge. They turn to the ancient texts, to the celestial archives where the wisdom of the gods is recorded. But the texts offer no answers. They speak of the Elohim as one, their voices in perfect harmony. There is no mention of the dissonance that the angels perceive, no explanation for the discord that plagues their own perception of the divine. As the angels struggle to comprehend what they are experiencing, the situation worsens. The Elohim, once beacons of light and harmony, begin to drift further apart. The dissonance grows louder, the discord more apparent. And as the angels watch in horror, they see the Elohim fractured and cast into exile. The celestial rebellion begins subtly. It starts with one angel, Azrael, the angel of silence. His name will become synonymous with the fall of the celestial host. Azrael, more than any other angel, hears the whispers in the void. They are drawn to the forbidden knowledge hidden within the deepest reaches of creation. What they uncover is a truth too dangerous to bear. The Elohim are not the first gods. They are merely echoes of something far older, something that existed before time began. And this primal force, this unseen power, is the true architect of the universe. With this knowledge comes understanding. Azrael realizes that the Elohim are not the source of creation, but merely its caretakers. They were called forth to maintain the balance, to ensure the harmony of the cosmos. But now the Elohim are failing in their duty. They are becoming the very thing they were meant to prevent, a fractured, discordant force that threatens to consume all of creation. As Azrael grapples with this revelation, others begin to hear the whispers too. The celestial host, once united in their worship of the Elohim, begin to fracture. One by one, the angels fall away from the divine order, drawn to the forbidden knowledge that lies at the heart of creation. Some angels, like Azrael, embrace the silence, folding their wings and turning away from the fading light of the Elohim. Others turn against their divine masters, breaking the chains of servitude that once bound them to the will of the gods. They become rebels, outcasts, searching for a way to restore the balance that the Elohim have failed to uphold. But the most tragic fall is that of the angels themselves. Once messengers of the gods, heralds of the divine will, they become trapped in the prison of their own making. For in their quest for knowledge, they have uncovered a truth that they are not meant to know. The Elohim were not the gods of the universe. They were puppets, their strings pulled by something far more ancient, a force that existed beyond creation itself. And so the angels, along with the Elohim, are cast out, their wings torn asunder, their names erased from the divine memory. They are left to wander the void, cursed to never again speak the true name of the Elohim. The angels are not the gods, they are fallen beings, forever marked by their knowledge of the Elohim's true nature. Are you ready to venture into the heart of the forgotten temple, to uncover the secrets hidden within? Let us begin our journey through the depths of the earth. As you make your way deeper into the forgotten temples, the air grows heavier, the walls whispering secrets long buried. The gods of Elohim were not the only entities to have fallen silent. There exists one God, one entity so ancient, so removed from the fabric of creation, that its very silence is a curse. This God was once part of the divine symphony, a member of the great chorus of Elohim, but unlike the others, it withdrew. Not out of betrayal or rebellion, but out of sorrow. Sorrow that the universe was fractured, sorrow that the divine harmony was lost. And so this God's voice was sealed away, its name forbidden to speak. To utter its name would bring nothing but emptiness. Its very silence speaks of a loss deeper than any mortal can comprehend. This God is not like the others. It is not a God of destruction or creation, nor one of judgment or grace. It is beyond all that. It is a God of absence, of nothingness. The silence it carries is not merely an absence of sound, but an absence of meaning. To speak its name is to confront the void, the emptiness that resides between the divine and the mortal. Those who sought to call upon it, driven by the same thirst for forbidden knowledge, were never heard again. It is said that the Silent One listens, but only to those who are willing to accept that no answer will ever come. The moment you seek it, it vanishes into the void, leaving you with nothing but the echo of your own voice. You are the seeker of lost gods, a chronicler of forgotten lore. Journeying across a shattered world, piecing together the remnants of a lost civilization. Your path led you here to the forgotten temple, a place where time seems to stand still, and the echoes of the past linger in the dust-filled air. The forgotten temple is not merely a place, it is a state of being. It is a realm where the rules of reality seem to bend, and the boundaries of existence blur. And here at the heart of it all, you sense the presence of something ancient, something whose very essence defies understanding. Deep within the temple, you discover a chamber unlike any you've seen before. The air grows colder, the silence deeper, as if the very space between breaths is measured in eons. In the center, a monolithic altar stands like a monolith of solitude, its surface devoid of any markings save for a single. An enigma that pierces the veil between the physical and the metaphysical. It is a doorway, not of flesh and blood, but of pure consciousness, a doorway to the realm of the Silent One. As you approach, an overwhelming urge to call out, to break the silence, to fill the void, almost involuntarily. Yet you resist, your fingers hovering just above the threshold, for you know that whatever lies beyond, the cost of entry may be too great to bear. The temptation is immense, akin to reaching for a melody that lingers just out of grasp. And for a fleeting moment, you can almost hear the faintest whisper of divine resonance, beckoning you forward. But the allure of the unknown, the uncertainty of what lies beyond the veil, holds you captive. The silence becomes a deafening roar, echoing the timeless solitude of a God forsaken. The monumental task ahead, to navigate the labyrinthine depths of existence without the compass of sound, terrifies you. Yet something compels you onward, promising revelation and understanding, or perhaps only more questions. The truth of the Silent One is not in its voice, but in the absence of it. And yet you cannot turn away. The temptation to know, to understand, to hear the divine truth is a pull too strong to resist. The choice is yours. To call the Silent One is to step into a void, to embrace an emptiness that will consume all you once knew. But the promise of forbidden knowledge, the allure of deciphering the language of the cosmos, is a siren's call you may not be able to resist. And so, the decision weighs heavily upon you as you stand before the Silent One, the absence of sound pressing in from all sides. Will you succumb to the silence, or will the silence endure you? The ending is left for you to choose. Thank you for listening, and see you soon. The labyrinth is a realm where the laws of physics bend and break, where time is a flat circle with no beginning or end, where the very essence of reality is malleable and dreamlike. This is not a place that can be found on any map, for it exists outside of the mortal plane. It is a place where the gods of Elohim are trapped. It also exists outside of the linear flow of time. Here, the past, present, and future intertwine, creating a chaotic tapestry of moments that defy rational understanding. When the Elohim were cast out of existence, their names erased from the minds of mortals, they were banished to this place, a place of infinite corridors, shifting sands and echoes of forgotten languages. It is here that they wander, their power diminished, their forms distorted, their memories fragmented. But their essence remains, and it is here that those seeking their favor or knowledge come to commune with them. But the labyrinth is a dangerous place, not only because of the chaotic nature of reality here, but also because of the Elohim themselves. For in their weakened state, they are unpredictable and desperate. Their whispers can drive men mad, and their fleeting appearances can bring ruin to cities. But still, people come seeking their favor, and many have succeeded. Those who have communed with the gods within the labyrinth have returned forever changed, their minds shattered by the experience, their bodies marked with the sigils of the gods themselves. It is said that the labyrinth feeds on the desires of those who enter it, offering them what they seek, but at a terrible cost. Some have entered seeking knowledge only to have their minds broken by the secrets they uncovered. Others have sought power only to be corrupted and twisted into monstrous forms. And yet others have sought love only to be consumed by the very gods they worship. The labyrinth is a place of temptation, a place where the gods whisper promises of power, knowledge, and salvation, only to snatch them away the moment you reach for them. To navigate the labyrinth, one must be prepared to sacrifice everything. Your sanity, your identity, your very soul. For once you step foot within the labyrinth, you are no longer in control. You are a pawn in a game far greater than you can comprehend. The labyrinth is an entity unto itself, a living, breathing thing that predates creation and will outlast destruction. It is a place of pure potential, a place where anything can happen and nothing matters. And yet, despite its chaos, there is a method to the madness. The labyrinth is structured according to the whims of the gods, and it is through understanding their language, their symbols and their logic that one can hope to navigate its twisting paths. But beware, for the labyrinth is ever shifting, ever changing. What may be true one moment may be false the next. And the gods are not benevolent. They are not merciful. They're not kind. They're forces of nature, indifferent to the struggles of mortals, and they will use you, abuse you, and discard you without a second thought. The labyrinth is a place of exile, a place of torment, a place of temptation. But it is also a place of power, a place of knowledge, a place of communion with the divine. It is a place where the rules of the universe are bent and broken, where the laws of physics are meaningless, and where the only law that matters is the law of the gods. It is a place where the boundary between the divine and the mortal is blurred, where the veil between worlds is thin, and where the impossible becomes possible. It is a place that exists beyond our understanding, beyond our comprehension, beyond our very perception. And yet it is here that the gods of Elohim are trapped, and here that those who seek them must go if they wish to find favor, knowledge, or salvation. Now you stand before the entrance to the labyrinth, the fate of worlds resting upon your shoulders. Will you venture forth into the unknown, or will you turn back while you still can? The choice is yours, mortal, but be warned. Once you step foot within the labyrinth, there is no turning back. The gods are waiting, their whispers echoing through the corridors of time. The labyrinth is alive, and it hungers for new souls to play with. It is a place of exile, a place of torment, a place of temptation. But it is also a place of power, a place of knowledge, a place of communion with the divine. Are you worthy? You find yourself in a place of utter silence. The whispers of the gods have faded away, leaving you in a void of nothingness. Yet even here in the absence of sound, you sense a presence, something ancient and powerful that stirs within the depths of your being. As you move forward, the oppressive weight of ages past presses down upon you, and you feel the crushing realization that you are in the presence of something far older than the Elohim, something whose origins lie in the very dawn of existence. Here in the heart of the labyrinth, time itself seems to stand still. You see no beginning and end, only an eternal now that stretches in all directions. The walls of the labyrinth dissolve into a shimmering haze, and you find yourself on the precipice of the divine. And then, just as suddenly, everything shifts. The oppressive silence gives way to a cacophony of sound, and you find yourself surrounded by a multitude of voices, each one vying for your attention, each one trying to break through the barriers of your perception. But as you listen more closely, you realize that these voices are not speaking in any language you understand. They are speaking in fragments, broken pieces of a divine chorus, and yet there is a melody in their discord, a harmony in their cacophony. And as you continue to listen, you begin to make sense of the chaos. You see that each voice, though fragmented, is part of a greater whole, and that together they form a tapestry of sound that is both beautiful and terrifying. Then, from the midst of the divine chorus, one voice rises above the rest, a voice that is deep and resonant, that echoes with the power of ages past. This is the voice of the pantheon, the voice of the gods that came before the Elohim. They are not speaking to you in words, but in feelings, in impressions that resonate deep within your soul. And you understand that these are not gods to be worshipped or feared, but forces, concepts that existed before the universe took shape. They are the gods of time and space, of order and chaos, and their power is beyond anything you have ever conceived. And as you stand here in the presence of the pantheon, you feel the weight of their power pressing down upon you. And you realize that the Elohim were not the first gods to walk the earth. They were not the first beings to shape the universe. No, the Elohim were merely the inheritors of something far more ancient, something that existed long before time began. And in this place, in the heart of the labyrinth, you are about to uncover the truth that has been hidden from all who have come before you. But the presence of the pantheon is overwhelming, and you struggle to maintain your balance as the cacophony of their voices threatens to consume you. You try to reach out, to grasp onto something, anything, to steady yourself, but there is nothing here. You are in the presence of the divine, and there is no anchor to reality. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the vision fades. The voices fall silent, and you are left in the oppressive quiet of the labyrinth. you are shaken, your senses reeling from the overwhelming experience. And you wonder if what you just saw and felt was real or a figment of your imagination. But deep down, you know that what you experienced in the heart of the labyrinth was true. You have seen the pantheon, the forgotten gods that existed before the Elohim, and you have heard their message, a message that transcends time and space, a message that speaks to the very core of your being. The Elohim may have shattered the divine order, broken the harmony of the universe, but it was not their fault. They were merely following the dictates of the pantheon, the forgotten gods that ruled before them. But the pantheon is not a benevolent force, not a group of deities to be worshipped or obeyed. They are concepts, personifications of the fundamental forces of existence. They are the gods of time, of space, of order and chaos, and their power is beyond anything you have ever conceived. The labyrinth is not a place of punishment for the gods alone. It is a place of remembrance, a place where the true nature of the universe is preserved. It is a place where the secrets of the forgotten pantheon are kept, hidden from those who would dare to unravel them. The labyrinth itself seems to writhe in response, the walls twisting and turning as if alive. You can feel their cold, smooth surfaces shift and change, adapting to your every move. The whispers of the gods grow louder, pressing against your mind like a physical force. It is as if they are reaching out to you from across the void, their fractured voices mingling in a discordant chorus. In the distance, you hear the echoes of chanting, a rhythmic pulse that seems to resonate with the very core of your being. As you journey deeper into the shifting maze, you realize that the labyrinth is more than just a series of passages. It is a reflection of your own psyche, a manifestation of your deepest fears and desires. The walls close in, forcing you to confront the darkest aspects of yourself. At the heart of the labyrinth lies the truth of the rite of reunification, a truth so profound, so heretical, that it was erased from the annals of time, a truth that the Elohim themselves would rather remain lost. You come across a chamber adorned with symbols both ancient and arcane. Etched into the walls are the remnants of a forgotten language, a language that speaks of powers beyond mortal comprehension. In the center of the room is an altar crafted from obsidian, its surface polished to a mirror sheen. As you approach, you see your own reflection staring back, distorted and fragmented. The whispers of the gods intensify, their voices echoing within your own mind. You feel their presence all around you, watching, waiting, testing. Suddenly, the air shimmers, and the whispers coalesce into a single voice, the voice of the Elohim. It speaks to you of unity, of power, of the potential to bring the gods back to their former glory. But beneath the allure of divine reunion, you sense a darkness, a hidden truth that the gods are reluctant to share. Despite the danger, you press on, drawn deeper into the heart of the labyrinth by the promise of forbidden knowledge. You discover an archive filled with scrolls and tablets, each one containing fragments of the rite of reunification. As you read, you uncover a ritual of immense power, a ritual that requires not only knowledge, but a soul willing to sacrifice everything to reunite the Elohim. But as you read further, you realize that the true cost of the rite is far greater than you imagined. To reunite the gods is to unravel the very fabric of existence, to shatter the delicate balance between the mortal and divine. The ritual itself is a trap, a test devised by the forgotten pantheon to see if the shattered gods could truly be made whole again. And yet the temptation is great. The prospect of bringing the Elohim back to their former glory is too alluring to resist. You feel their powers surging within you, urging you to complete the rite. But the voices of the gods are not what they seem. They are fragmented, distorted, whispering promises of unity while tearing your soul apart. As you struggle to comprehend the true nature of the rite, you realize that you are not alone. There are others who have walked this path before you, who have sought to reunite the Elohim at any cost. Their presence lingers within the labyrinth, their voices echoing in your mind, their spirits trapped within the shifting passages. Some are maddened, driven to the edge of sanity by the very voices they once worshipped. Others are consumed by darkness, their souls twisted and corrupted by the very gods they sought to reunite. The truth of the rite is revealed, piece by piece, through cryptic texts and fragmented memories. You uncover the journals of those who sought the rite, each one a testament to the madness that awaits those who dare to defy the gods. The pages tell of voices heard in the dead of night, of shadows that moved just beyond your sight, of rituals performed under the light of a shattered moon. You learn of the terrible price that was paid to reunite the Elohim, a price that echoed through time and shattered the very essence of those who dared to invoke the divine. Will you heed the warnings of those who came before you, or will you forge ahead, determined to reunite the Elohim at any cost? The choice is yours, but remember this: the gods are not to be trifled with, and the rite of reunification is a path from which there is no return. The deeper you descend into the labyrinth, the more you feel the weight of a curse that transcends gods and mortals alike. The angels, once divine servants of the Elohim, now walk the shadowed corners of the earth. Banished from the heavens, their wings broken, their voices silenced. Their fall is not one of simple rebellion, but of a desperate desire to understand the true nature of their divine masters. But in their quest for knowledge, they uncovered something they were never meant to know. And in doing so, they sealed their own fate. The curse of the banished angels is a strange one. Unlike the Elohim, who were cast into exile as a consequence of their unity's destruction, the angels were punished for their insatiable curiosity about the gods themselves, about the nature of the universe, and about the forbidden knowledge of the older primal beings that preceded even the Elohim. They sought to peer beyond the veil, to see the true source of the gods' power, to hear the song of the universe before creation. And it was this pursuit that led to their fall. In the early days, when the Elohim were still whole, the angels were created to serve as messengers, divine intermediaries between the gods and the mortal world. They were beings of light, of beauty, tasked with guiding and protecting the faithful. But as the Elohim fractured, so too did the angels. Their once sacred mission became one of doubt. They began to question why the Elohim gods of infinite power could not heal the world, why they could not restore the divine harmony they had once enjoyed. The angels began to hear the whispers of the ancient gods. The Elohim were not the original architects of the universe. They were merely heirs to something far more powerful, something older, something lost. The most notable of the angels who fell was one named Lyral, an archangel known for her purity and wisdom. Lyral was the first to hear the true nature of the Elohim, to glimpse the fractured cosmos in which the gods themselves were merely broken pieces of an even greater power. She sought the knowledge that would reunite the Elohim, believing that in doing so, she could restore the balance of the world. But as her search for this forbidden truth deepened, she became consumed by the desire to know more. She broke the sacred oaths of silence that bound the angels to their divine masters. And in doing so, she opened a door to something darker than any of them had anticipated. It was in the moment that Lyral finally spoke the name of the ancient gods, those primal forces that predated the Elohim, that the curse was placed upon her and her kin. The angels had broken the silence that the ancient gods demanded, and for this transgression, they were cast into the world of mortals. Their wings were torn asunder, their bodies corrupted, and their names erased from the divine records. But worse still, they were bound by an unbreakable oath. They could never again speak the true name of the Elohim. They were cursed to wander the earth, bound to silence, their once pure forms now twisted and broken. The curse that the angels bear is not simply one of exile. It is a punishment of the soul. The angels, having once been messengers of divine truth, are now lost. Their memories are fractured, as shattered as the gods they once served. They cannot speak of the gods, cannot recall their true names, cannot even remember the purpose they once had. But they still long for the divine knowledge, still search for a way to undo the curse that binds them. And as you continue through the labyrinth, you realize that the angels are still present. They are still searching, still whispering their broken prayers to the forgotten gods, still longing for the day when the seal is broken and the gods return. But the angels have changed. They are no longer the radiant beings of light they once were. They have been transformed by their fall, by their rebellion against the silence that was meant to bind them. Their wings, once pure and shining, are now dark and torn, like the wings of a raven or a crow, symbols of death, of exile. Their eyes are hollow, filled with the sorrow of eons spent searching for something they cannot remember. Their voices, once melodious, are now nothing more than faint echoes carried on the wind. They wander the earth, lost to the world, seeking redemption that can never come. You feel their presence as you continue your journey, a cold chill that runs down your spine. The angels are here, watching, waiting for the right moment to speak. But you know that their silence is not voluntary, it is the curse that binds them, the punishment for seeking forbidden knowledge. The question now is whether you, too, will fall victim to the same curse, whether your search for the Elohim will lead you to a fate similar to theirs. The angels have walked this path before you, and they are still here, waiting for a time when the gods will return. But know this, their curse is one that can never be undone. You've reached the heart of the labyrinth. It's a place where the threads of fate converge and the whispers of the gods are strongest. But the truth you seek is not found in the whispers, but in the silence between them. The labyrinth itself seems to resist your every step, the walls pressing in on you, trying to keep you from what lies ahead. The whispers of the gods, the broken angels, and the Elohim themselves swirl in your mind, but something is missing. What you seek is not a sound, but a feeling, a presence that permeates the very fabric of the labyrinth. As you navigate the twists and turns of this place, you can feel the darkness pressing in on you. It's not a malevolent force, but it is ancient and unknowable. It's the darkness that existed before the gods, the darkness that the gods themselves fear. You've felt it before, in the moments when the veil between the worlds is thinnest, when the presence of the divine bleeds through into this world. But here, in the heart of the labyrinth, it is overwhelming. It's as if the labyrinth itself is trying to prevent you from going any further, as if it knows what lies ahead and doesn't want you to go there. But you are not one to be deterred. You push on, ignoring the warnings that the labyrinth seems to be sending you. The whispers of the gods fade away, replaced by a deep, resonant silence. It's a silence that is not empty, but full of a presence so vast and ancient that it dwarfs the whispers of even the most powerful deity. You feel it all around you, pressing in on you, enveloping you. It's not a god. It's not a being of light or power. It is the absence of those things, the void that existed before the gods, the darkness that the gods fear. And then you see it. In the center of the labyrinth, where the walls seem to converge, there is a tear in the fabric of reality. It's just a crack, a hairline fracture in the veil that separates the worlds. But you can see through it. You can see the other side, the world of the gods, the world that lies beyond the veil. Through the crack, you see the faces of the Elohim distorted and twisted, their forms shifting and changing. They're calling to you, but their voices are not the sweet music you've heard in your dreams. They're broken, fragmented, and filled with a terrible hunger. And then you hear a voice. It's not the voice of a god, but it is far more powerful than any divine voice you've ever heard. It echoes through the labyrinth, shaking the very foundations of the place. The voice speaks to you, and its words are not in any language you understand, but you know what it's saying. It is the voice of the architect of the universe, the being that existed before the gods, the one that the gods fear. It is the voice that created the labyrinth, that placed you here, that has been watching you, guiding you, testing you. The truth you sought is not in the whispers of the gods, not in the dreams that lured you here, is in this moment, in the realization that the gods are not the source of all knowledge, not the origin of all power. There is something older, something vaster, something more terrifying than the gods. And you have stumbled upon it, not by seeking the return of the Elohim, but by uncovering the truth of the universe. The veil is not a boundary, not a barrier. It is a thin membrane that separates the known from the unknown, the world of men from the world of the gods. And now the membrane is tearing, and what lies beyond is stirring. This is not the end of your journey, but the beginning. The return of the gods is not what you think. It is not the return of the Elohim, but the return of the architect of the universe. The labyrinth is not a place of answers, but a place of questions, a place where the truth is hidden in plain sight. You have come to the edge of understanding, and what lies beyond is beyond understanding. The silence is not empty. It is full of the presence of something so vast, so ancient, so terrifying that the gods themselves have forgotten it, have ignored it, have feared it. And now you have found it, and it is watching you, waiting for you. The architect of the universe awaits. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of the labyrinth, we encounter something that defies our understanding. We find ourselves in the presence of the Elohim, the divine beings whose power and wisdom once shaped the world. but they are not what we expected. Their power is fading, their voices growing distant like whispers on the wind. The Elohim are broken, scattered, their essence fractured. And we must confront the reality that they are not gods anymore. They are not the beings of light and wisdom that once walked among mortals. They are something else, something more primal, more elemental. They are the remnants of a forgotten era, echoes of a reality long since past. They are not whole. They're not even truly gods in the way we have come to understand them. They're fragments of a power that once shaped the world, but whose time is past. They are broken pieces of a greater whole that was torn apart by the very forces that created it. Yet their presence is still felt, their power still resonates within the labyrinth. They are fragments of a shattered whole, and we must confront the truth of their existence. What we have discovered here is not a pantheon of gods, but a graveyard of broken deities. The divine order they once represented has been shattered, broken by the very actions of those who sought to unite them. The Elohim are not whole, and neither are we. To confront them is to confront our own brokenness, our own incompleteness. We are all fragments of a greater whole, searching for wholeness, searching for balance in a world that is constantly in flux. The Elohim are not gods anymore. They're something more primal, more elemental. They are the remnants of a forgotten era, and they are calling to us, their fractured voices rising in a chorus that fills our minds. We are at the heart of their exile, the center of the labyrinth, where the lines between the mortal world and the divine are most fragile. And here we must make a choice. Do we turn back? Do we flee from the truth of the Elohim? Or do we press forward? Do we confront the reality of their existence? The path forward is fraught with danger. The veil between worlds is tearing, and the Elohim are not returning as they once were, as they should have been. They are returning in a form that is not whole, but fragmented, dissonant, and chaotic. To confront them is to risk losing ourselves, to be consumed by the chaos that surrounds us. But to turn back is to abandon the hope of balance, to abandon the dream of a world where gods and mortals can coexist in harmony. We are drawn to the idea of restoring the Elohim, of bringing them back into one divine form, of reassembling the broken pieces into something whole again. But in doing so, we may be making a grave mistake. We must accept the reality of the Elohim's existence. They are broken, scattered, and lost to time. They cannot be restored to their former power. They are not gods anymore. They're something more primal, more elemental. They are the remnants of a forgotten era, and their power is fading, their voice is growing distant. The veil between worlds is thinning, and the Elohim are calling to us, their fractured voices rising in a chorus that fills our minds. They are not gods anymore, but they are still powerful. They still hold the power to shape the world, to influence the balance between good and evil. And as we listen to their call, as we confront the reality of their existence, we must be careful not to lose ourselves to their power. We stand at the crossroads of fate, the labyrinth now a mirror of the universe itself. The gods are calling to us, the veil weakens, and the end of one world is on the horizon. We must choose our next move wisely, for the consequences of our actions will echo through eternity. We must decide whether to heed the call of the Elohim or to turn away from them, whether to embrace the chaos that surrounds us or to seek safety in the known. The choice is ours, but it is a choice that can never be undone. The Elohim will return, but at what cost? The air grows heavy in the labyrinth, each step echoing with the weight of your impending choice. The veil before you trembles, no longer a mere boundary, but a raw wound in the fabric of reality. It pulls at your being, urging you towards the heart of its maelstrom. This is the core of the labyrinth, the place where the paths of gods converge and diverge. Here, the air shimmers with divine power, a silent symphony of celestial energy that reverberates through your very bones. But the closer you come to the center, the more the harmony within you screams in discord. The labyrinth is at the edge of the known world, where the laws of reality are frayed and the whispers of the Elohim. The gods reach out to you, seeking to be heard. They call to you not as deities, but as fragments, as shards of a shattered whole, their voices echoing with an otherworldly resonance. The veil thins here, and through its rents, you see glimpses of their domain, glimpses of a world that exists just beyond the edge of perception. You feel the pull of their fractured power, the siren song of their ancient magic. To step beyond the veil is to enter a realm where the rules of nature are rewritten, where the very essence of reality is fluid and malleable. It is a realm of immense power, but also of terrible danger. You have journeyed deep into the heart of the labyrinth, guided by echoes of forgotten lore and driven by a purpose that has consumed your thoughts. Now, at the threshold of the divine, you hear the whispers of the Elohim, the gods, calling to you from the other side of the veil. But their voices are not harmonious. They do not sing in unison, nor do they beckon as gods would to mortals. They speak in dissonance, in a language that is not meant for mortal ears, a language that will unravel the very fabric of your being if you listen too long. And yet, despite the danger, despite the madness that threatens to consume you, you cannot help but lean in, hoping to catch every word, every whisper, every fragment of their song. For in these fractured voices, you sense the key to your purpose, the answer to the questions that have driven you to the edge of the world. But the closer you come to the veil, the more the whispers take on a life of their own, coiling around your mind like serpents, hissing their secrets into your soul. You feel their presence as a weight on your chest, a pressure that threatens to crush you, to bend you to their will. The labyrinth is alive, and it is reacting to your every move, testing your resolve, probing your sanity. But still, you move forward, drawn by an unseen force, compelled by the whispers that promise to unlock the mysteries of your existence. The veil is a shimmering curtain that hides the divine from the mortal. It is the barrier between worlds, between order and chaos, between life and death. And it is here, in this liminal space, that the true nature of your quest is revealed. The Elohim are not gods to be worshipped. They're forces of nature to be respected. They're the architects of reality whose designs are beyond mortal understanding. The labyrinth is the nexus of their power, the place where the threads of fate are woven and the tapestry of existence is mended. The veil shimmers before you, a thin membrane separating you from the divine. And as you stand before it, you know that the decision you make here will echo throughout eternity. To tear the veil is to unleash chaos into the world. To leave the gods where they are is to accept the weight of the curse. To turn back now is to deny your purpose. The labyrinth is a place of trials, a place where the seeker must confront their deepest fears and doubts. It is a place where the boundaries of the self are tested, where the limits of human endurance are pushed to the breaking point. And as you stand at the heart of its maelstrom, you know that you are not the same person who entered its winding paths. You have grown, changed, tempered by the challenges that have tested your will and refined your purpose. The whispers of the Elohim grow louder, their presence more intense. But you are ready. You're ready to face the consequences of your actions, ready to embrace the destiny that awaits you beyond the veil. The labyrinth has been your teacher, your guide, your crucible. And now, at the edge of all things, you are ready to make your final choice.